Hey Jennifer.
Hey Charles.
So today we are here with Lori Lampkin, and you are Group Program Manager. What do you do?
Group Program Manager. I am the Group Manager of Visual Studio Team Foundation. And Group Program Managers, they are responsible for defining the product in terms of how it meets customers' needs, how they want to buy it, how they it's better than the competition, or it really solves a real problem. So defining that product and going forward through several releases, and also the delivery, just making sure that it comes together and we actually deliver on that product. So I manage a team of program managers to do that, and the tagline is program managers make sure we build the right product on time.
And you work with developers and
Absolutely, we work with the whole team. Program management's pretty fun. It's different because we tend to lead our feature teams and bring the test and the dev disciplines together as a team in order to solve those customer needs. And the expertise that program management brings to the table is knowledge of the customer problem and the ability to design a technical solution through it, and the dev takes it from there to implementation and QA, make sure it all works for the customer.
So in this case, the customers are developers for
Yeah.
Team System, and what problem are you solving? Like
Yeah.
what are the pain points that Team System solves?
Yeah, so Team System is actually new for Visual Studio. In the past, Visual Studio has been about making the developer productive, and now we're expanding so that we care about solutions for architects and testers and project managers and people who run the build lab, as well as developers. And Team Foundation, the product that I'm responsible for, is helps people doing the build, project managers, and developers to get their work done, to come together as a team and build a solution. So the features that enables are source code control, issue tracking, so bugs, and task management, and for the project managers, and just kind of looking at the overall project metrics, and then a nightly build system that pulls it all together, and you have a drop every day. So that's basically the foundation of what brings a team together, so we know we're all talking about the same thing. That's why we called it Team Foundation, and it's the basis of integrating all these different roles together to actually release products. In the past, it's been hard because focusing on the developer, what we've heard from customers is that, hey, that's really important, but it's not what's really preventing us from getting our product out the door is getting this whole team to come together. So that's the problem we're trying to solve.
Fantastic. And so why did you get into this racket? How long have you, why Microsoft? I mean, how did you get into the technology?
Yeah, well, I got into Microsoft 15 years ago, and I came straight from college. I wanted to be a developer. I wanted to write software, and I came and I realized I chose Microsoft because it was I really liked the people. I thought they were just really smart, and I was challenged by them, and I thought they were really trying to make something. They wanted to make an impact, and that's why I come to work, is because I want to change this industry. I want to make people's lives better, and that's what's so great about Team Foundation is I see us bringing teams together to ship products. I see the effect on how people get their job done every day. And I've been really happy. I've loved working at Microsoft for 15 years, and and I continue to be challenged by the people that they're just really bright. They keep me on my toes, keep me learning every single day.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned you wanted to be a developer. Does that mean you were a computer science student in college?
I was a math major with an emphasis in computer science, and I wanted to be a developer, but what I found was that I didn't like to be in my office all day, I liked working with people better. And so I gravitated really naturally to program management, where I could interact with customers, get their requirements, design some features, and I still could be quite technical as well. And it was also fun working in developer division because in order to understand the customer needs, you're talking to developers, and so you're never far from the technology, so you stay really fresh and of course, we're on top of the latest and greatest platform, so it's really fun to be on the bleeding edge of technology.
Very cool. Now,
Has Team Foundation shipped?
No, it hasn't. It's shipping Q1 '06. We are currently locking down and just getting the last bits of customer feedback in and getting ready to go.
fantastic. So you mentioned you studied math.
Yes.
What got you interested in math as a child or as a teenager, or I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, I just was surprised. I haven't really thought about that in
Ah.
a while. Like, why did I start getting interested in math? I think back. I've always liked to solve problems. I like a conclusion, and that's math. And so you write your equations and you balance them, or you write your proofs, and there's like you use logic to come to a full answer. And I liked the closure that you get there, and I liked the way you apply logic and you eliminate variables and possibilities and you get there. And it was just fun and challenging, and I just continued getting more and more into math and computer science as well. And it was kind of a toss-up for me which one I was going to major in, though I chose math. And I don't know, I guess
That's great. I mean, because did you have mentors and teachers that you looked up to, or people in the industry that got you excited about computer science and math and going into this field?
Yeah, well, I definitely had some teachers that had an impact. I think having, when you're in high school, you have this choice of, well, in order to graduate, you only need to finish algebra or geometry or whatever it is. And I thought it was fun, and so I kept doing the advanced placement math courses and really tried to stretch myself there. I think mainly because the teachers made it fun, and mainly because I could actually solve problems and come to those solutions. In terms of who was hot in the industry at the time, Bill Gates was emerging at the point where I was, sure, he was around, but he wasn't a common household name like he is now, but he was in the area, and so I found him to be very inspiring in terms of changing the world and doing it through technology. So
Excellent.
Cool. So do you have very many women on your team?
I do. I mean, I'd love to have more, of course, and I have several women on my team that some are leads and some are individual contributors in program management.
So are you finding that, are you a very competitive person?
Am I a competitive person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am a competitive person. Sometimes I don't like that about myself, but I think I like to achieve things and be successful and move the business forward, and a lot of my drive comes from that, not in terms of a competitive put other people down, but competitive from do the best that you can. It's great to go home and know that I tried my hardest today and we got something done as a team. That kind of competition.
Fantastic. So, you've been at Microsoft for 15 years. Where do you want to go, like at Microsoft? What are your aspirations? Do you want to run the company? Like, where do you want to go?
Yeah, so I have really loved being a group program manager. I think I've been a group program manager I was trying to figure it out the other day, I think 6 or 7 years, maybe, might be more. And I've loved it because I'm close to the product and close to the technology and the team, and yet you're still exposed to the strategy and the relationships across the company. I think at this point in my career, I think I'd really like to be a product unit manager. I think I want to make the next step up. I didn't want to before. I was really enjoying what I was doing, and I was growing and learning. And I'm still growing and learning. I think I could do that forever. But I think I'm ready to make the next step up. I don't want to get too far away from the actual defining of the products, because I do love that. But I'd like to learn more about the business, how we package the products, how we market them and sell them, how we determine price points, and how we deal with the competition a little bit more than just defining a product that it has a superior solution, but more full message around the product.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
So just thinking out loud, like what do you think we can do to get more young girls
Mhm.
interested in technology and computer science and
Mhm.
have them think that it's cool?
Oh, wow. Well, when the first thing I think about is the toys you expose kids to. Like, I always think, I have 2 little boys and they're 3 years old, and they, like, drive their little cars and look at the wheels of the trains and stuff, and you tend to give them Lincoln Logs or blocks and stuff. And my dad, when I was little, I don't know, maybe we were his boys. He had 3 girls, and he gave us all kinds of toys that really inspired problem solving and figuring things out, and I wonder how much of an effect that had on me in terms of my future choices. So I look at it as, make sure you expose people to everything so that they have the opportunity, encourage them to do what they do well, whether it's art or math or science. Making sure they have the exposure, even from a young age all the way through, would be really important, just so that people can figure out what they do well. In terms of making technology cool for girls, and young girls in particular, wow, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of, it is cool. It's cool from, like, writing apps for cell phones. It's cool for, your MP3 player, and, there's lots of things that allow you to interact with peers, with music, or with other hobbies that you have through technology. So I know I got excited kind of writing games early on. That was really fun. And so I think more of those sorts of, like, I started out thinking about games, and then I started thinking about, God, it'd be fun to write my own silly, funny game, and that was kind of amusing to me. And then I had a product that I had that was with the basic language that helped you, kind of like a Space Invaders game that gave you the source, and then you could kind of tweak it and make it chickens instead of, whatever. And that's kind of got me into, how is this actually built? So I look at that. You could do that with, the cell phone applications or the IM applications, or the ways people are surfing the web, that people can kind of see how it was built, like a simplified version, and then they can, make it different for themselves and actually kind of take it apart a little.
Can you talk about how that diversity is really important, and that and we have a really inclusive culture here, and how it's really important to respect the different points of view?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that our customers aren't all one person. There's a wide variety of people who buy our products. So we need to make sure that that we can represent them as program management and look at things. If we all thought the same way, then we wouldn't have such a marketable product. I think also when we're brainstorming a technical solution, you can get just down one narrow path, and to have someone come in and go, well, have you thought about this? Or wait a minute, I don't get that. You took a leap. I didn't understand. Those sort of perspectives are like, oh, well, I guess we did take a leap, and that step in the middle didn't make any sense. And it really helps you get a better solution by having more perspectives. And I think diversity leads to that. You need all kinds of people to help build better products.
Absolutely. And we do pretty well there here with that.
Yeah.
So let's say now, if the industry was run by, if there were more, say, women running the industry, I don't know necessarily what I mean by that, but leaders of companies, etc. Do you think there would be anything different in how things get done? How the industry's evolved over time? I mean, it's a totally crazy, random question. But.
Wow. I mean, I haven't really thought about that. What strikes me right away is that one of the things that I felt in being a woman and understanding the differences with my peers has been, I look at my team like my family. Like there's an immense amount of loyalty there and a connection there that. And I sometimes think that the guys think of it like a ball team, like we're here to play baseball and we get traded and we do, it's like a little bit different than the family atmosphere. And I think it's all positive and you want all that. But I think the way I look at it is maybe there'd be more loyalty or more, I don't know how to say it, just a more connection with the people that you're working with in terms of the team environment coming together. I don't know, though. I haven't thought about it much.
Well, that's interesting.
So what are your skills specifically that you think have made you successful?
What are my skills that have made me successful? Well, I had a good, strong technical base coming in, so that was important. But my unique attributes have been be able to grow people. I really look at the person and try to provide direct, honest, yet digestible feedback, a few key things to work on that are concrete, that can grow them and grow them to the next level and beyond that and beyond that. And that's been a fun way to watch people, you know, achieve greatness themselves by just knowing we're all learning every day and we're building our skill set and being able to add to that. So I see myself as somebody who grows people. I also get really excited about the products I'm building, so being able to motivate and lead a team. And then lastly, I just am very good at getting things done, so orchestrating roles and responsibilities, seeing how products should come together and be better together, and defining really good end-to-end customer scenarios have been skills I've been able to apply over and over as I've changed different roles in the company.
Was there a defining moment in your career, something that you want to share that was like a big lesson for you that you had walked away with a lot of learnings from, that kind of made you decide, well, this is what I want to do with my career, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to be?
A defining moment in my career where that happened. Well, I remember when I first started out at Microsoft, I was an engineer, and one of the things that I did was try to coordinate a lot of activities for the team together, like when are we all going to check in together, or when are we, you know, like manage our dependencies amongst ourselves. And so I immediately kind of stepped into an organizer role, and that became something that other people noticed. Like usually they just waited for the manager to do it, and I just felt like, well, I'll just do it. And I think that initiative was made me turn and made me made my boss's boss come and say, I think you should be a manager next, you know, because you're stepping up and you're kind of building the bridges between your team, and people are gravitating towards your leadership. So, you know, this should be your next step. And I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that before, but yeah, that sounds fun. I like doing that part. So, and that really led me into the management track for the rest of my career at Microsoft. And so that was a pretty big turning point for me.
And in your role, you could be a people manager and still stay close to the technology?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, gosh, we can't not get away from it. You're in a meeting, and so you could be in a meeting with Bill, and he'll say, I think this is a great end user scenario, and here's how it will work. And he'd be like, well, exactly, why didn't you use that technology? And, you know, what about that team over there? They're building something similar. And so you really have to know your stuff. The executives at this company can go pretty deep on how things are built, and so, you know, it's a value of the company.
Cool.
Excellent. So what are some of our other...
We did a lot of them.
We did. We got...
Yeah. I guess you could tell us, like, in one sentence or less, like, why do you just absolutely love your job? What's the highest order bit for you?
People. The people are what it's all about. They're smart, they're fun, they are here to do something, and they're not here to just put time away. They're here to move the business, make a difference on customers, make a difference on the product, and that is energizing to come to.
Fantastic.
And over the years, do you feel like we've become more customer-centric?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember my early days at Microsoft, that people, you know, would be like, well, their customer's saying this, and be like, well, you know better than the customer what needs to happen. And there is a tension between what needs to happen strategically, you know, how the strategy needs to come together for the company, and how customers don't know the strategy, so they can't ask for it. But you have to be able to relate the real problems they're having now and how the strategy is going to help in order to come up with the next release. And I think we've gotten much better at that, and much better at getting everyone in the company to connect with customers through news groups or blogs, or, you know, just out in the community visiting customer sites or being at events, much more than just marketing or program management that it's been in the past. We've still got a long way to go, but
Sure.
it's the right direction.
So what's your advice for young women and just getting their feet wet in technology, and starting to think about how to maybe grow their, which way do I go?
Mm-hmm.
Because there aren't, so what would you say to a group of people?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing that I would say is to, keep trying to grow and learn and challenge yourself. Take the classes or, do the side project or what you need to do. The other thing that was big for me when I was in high school and early in college was the choice of my summer jobs. I had a lot of friends who were, waitresses or stuff like that, and I chose to be a receptionist somewhere, and it didn't seem like a very big deal. Like, I was a sophomore in college, and you couldn't really get a job as a programmer somewhere. But I did that, and what happened was people asked me to do other things because I had the initiative. So I ended up, starting out filing and answering phones, but then I'd be like, I have extra time, and I ended up being able to do a lot of computer programming as a result, because I ended up, just receptionist, and then a little bit more, and then what do you know? Next thing you know, I'm doing some real work here, and I've kind of started that way. When I was in college, I had a job at Seattle City Light, which is the power company. Same kind of thing. I was hired to redo their emergency manual or something like that for natural disasters. This was, 20 years ago or something. So, and I was like, okay, and I did that. And as I was doing that, I told people I was interested in computer science, and they had a forecasting unit, and they started asking for me to spend some time helping them forecast power. So next thing you know, I was, tinkering around with some of the programs and helping them out. And then now my job, emergency manual's done, and now I'm working for the power company, writing programs, and that was in college, and so it wasn't even a job that was posted or available. I just think that get yourself in a environment or a company that has these sort of opportunities you're interested in, even if you're taking a role that isn't, hired as a programmer, but you can show the initiative and you can have that opportunity at a very young age, so.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's great advice.
Well, thank you, right?
Absolutely.
It was good.
Yeah,
It was great.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too.